Greetings and welcome, people, and thank you for dropping by and joining me as I take Babe out for a little run to kind of fly the flag. I mean, there are basically two Union flag badges on each side of the fairing of this bike, so technically we are flying the flag in a sense. And today is Friday the 3rd of June, and it is the second of what we here in the UK generally refer to as a bank holiday period. Other guys may call it a public holiday. Same thing. How it came to be called a bank holiday, you may know, you may not know, but that's not really what I'm out and about to discuss today. Now, unless you've been living in a tent, a cave, or a hole in the ground somewhere for the last 6 months to a year with no access to internet or any other kind of information sources, you will know that this year is the 70th anniversary, the platinum anniversary of Queen Elizabeth II being crowned Queen of, well, she's Queen of the United Kingdom. A lot of people say, especially our former colonial friends, say Queen of England. Yes, she is the Queen of England. She's also the Queen of Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, and various other territories and holdings around the world that are basically the last crumbs and remnants of empire. But that's again not something that's going to be discussed in this vlog. So yes, the Queen has been our monarch for 70 years this year. 70 years. That's longer than a lot of people actually live. That's certainly longer than any of my siblings that have passed got to live. And you may or may not be aware that I think it was 4 years before her father, King George VI, died and she became Queen, Princess Elizabeth, as she was then, made a pledge to the nation and the Commonwealth that she would dedicate her life, in her words, be it long or short, or was it be it short or long, I can't remember, to the service of the Commonwealth, sorry, to the service of the country and the Commonwealth. Ooh, here we go. And I think it would take a very hard-hearted person to suggest that she has failed to live up to that pledge. Various other members of the royal family, and that's what I wanted to talk about on this vlog, except we're now stuck at this level crossing. Yes, I know I could slip in front of this car, but I'm not that bothered. Now, I know I've said in at least one previous vlog that in general terms I support the institution of the monarchy. I believe on balance it is a positive thing for this country and beyond. I know that there are people who do not support the idea of a hereditary monarchy or hereditary privilege, as they would call it, in any form. Although how they quite see that as people leaving property and monies to their children and grandchildren, because it's the same sort of thing. You're passing down what is yours to the generations that follow you. So yes, there are people out there, they're called Republicans, not the same as the Republican Party in the United States, but there you are. Basically people who do not want to see a unelected hereditary monarchy, even if it is a purely ceremonial one, as we have in this country, the Queen has the Crown has very few actual powers. But generally, I think that the existence of the monarchy as part of our culture is a beneficial thing on balance. Yes, there are certain downsides to it, not denying that, but I think overall the country derives a net benefit from a net benefit from the presence of the monarchy. Now I'll go further to clarify that, and I think that net benefit has derived from the person of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth herself. Because of that vow of dedication and service, she has basically brought the monarchy through some quite tough times over the last decades. I think most people would agree. Both for the world nation and for the world and for her personally. But I believe that the one thing that has helped the monarchy, the institution of the monarchy, maintain its support amongst the British people, and it's that support amongst the British people that the Queen has said has to be there. She herself has said that if that support amongst the British people ever declines, then the monarchy should be dissolved. But she herself has said that. She realises that it's the support of the British people that keeps that institution viable and, to a degree, valid. And a lot of how she's been able to maintain that support she has kept an outward appearance of political neutrality, while the Queen herself and various members of the senior and minor royals have always worked to support good causes, charities, groups that support groups that support to people with various disabilities, illnesses, needs, and obviously we're all well familiar with the Duke of Edinburgh's award scheme. That was just for young people of all ages and backgrounds to participate, basically in what is effectively a self-improvement, self-discovery process. Yes, the award you get at the end is good, it's recognition, but what you gain for yourself during that whole process, I think, outweighs the piece of paper or the trophy or whatever medal or whatever it is you get at the end. That's a symbol of the work and effort that those young people put into getting to where they were at the end of it. So while the royals have always been active in doing that sort of thing, it's always been from a politically neutral standpoint. Now I'm fairly certain that all of the royal family have their own views politically, ideologically, sociologically, all of that good stuff. Whether that is driven by personal conviction or whether it's by convenience and self-interest, I don't know, but I'm sure that they do have their own beliefs and opinions, but they've been generally very careful to keep those things more or less to themselves. There have been occasions where other people have leaked comments and things that the royal family in general and the Queen herself, they have leaked those things to try and drag those particular individuals onto the political stage, usually in support of that person's own cause. But obviously the Queen does the diplomatic thing and just basically says no comment. So And that, I believe, is how the monarchy has managed to maintain its level of popularity, because it then gives itself a broader base to appeal to. Because if the royal family were constantly expressing opinions and views on politically loaded subjects, then obviously the people that didn't agree with those views would then not support the monarchy. So they basically given themselves the opportunity to be embraced by more than just a particular section of the community. Yes, you might say that, well, they're only supported by monarchists. Well, yeah, that's true. But I think there are far more people willing to... Oh, there's the flag up there now. Da, 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 da. Never been down this road before. Lived in this area for over 30 years and never been down this road. Is there a car coming? I don't know. Yeah, so I think a lot of people, while they may not be flag waving, wrapping themselves in the flag, etc., that type of support, I think a lot of people are like me, quietly supporting the institution itself, while not necessarily being absolutely blindly devoted to everybody in that institution. I mean, Queen Elizabeth will always have my support because of the way she's conducted herself over these 7 decades. But that is where I think the problem lies. We are looking at, I think, sadly, the last few years of Her Majesty's life. She is aging rapidly now. Obviously, she lost her husband and lifelong partner, who was by her side for many, many decades, a couple of years ago. And we all know that nobody lives forever, even if it seems like they do sometimes. It's just a fact. And oh dear, these roads are a bit iffy with the gravel. Just be very careful taking off from here. So yes, unfortunately, it's a simple fact of life that at some point, probably, well, almost definitely within my lifetime, the Queen will either step down as monarch or will pass. It's just one of those things you just can't get away from. And that is where my worry for the future of the monarchy comes in. Because the younger royals that we look at now, and yes, I do include Prince Charles in that, although he is obviously quite an older person. I think he's already in his 60s, approaching, is he in his 60s, early 70s? I'll double check that and put it in at the bottom of the screen. But he has already proven himself to be very vocal on a lot of issues. I'm not saying he shouldn't be. I'm just worried that he will basically start using his position as monarch if he accedes to the throne after his mother is no longer queen. Yeah, it's quite nice around here. Eartham, yes, Eartham's nice. So, like I say, he's been very vocal on a lot of issues, mostly environmental, which obviously he's been vocal about environmental issues long before it became a major subject in the media, etc. like it is now. Everybody, I think you can probably, if you look up the words Prince Charles Carbuncle, you'll find how he got involved in the proposed designs for the extension, I think, to the British Library. It's either the British Library or the British Museum, I can't remember which now. Again, I'll put it at the bottom of the screen. But even he, I don't think, is as given to being forthright and opinionated about things as the younger royals, his sons. We've all seen how Harry has basically been dragged onto the political stage on various matters by his wife. He may have held these views already, which is fair enough, but as the not the heir to the throne, I suppose he thought, well, it doesn't matter if I speak my mind and let everybody know exactly what I think about anything and everything. Now you might say, well, that's fair enough, isn't it? Surely the things that they're voicing opinions and views on are valid issues that you can't really argue against because they're valid issues. Well, it's not a case of the issue itself. It's a case of what your view is on how those issues should be addressed. And as I'm seeing at the moment, lots of issues are being pushed into being addressed by legislation, etc., without them being fully discussed and assessed, and for popular support. I mean, I was under the impression that most of the Western world was a democracy. Now, democracy doesn't mean that everything has to be run by the people, because you'd never get anything done if that was the case, although Switzerland seems to do fairly well with their direct, what do they call it? I can't think of the term now. Basically, they give their people referendums on many things, local and national. Dead badger. So for me personally, it is a matter of worry that if, as these new royals, the younger royals, step more and more to the front of events and occasions and things, and become more the focus of attention, shall we say, that they will be using that to push their views. And obviously once somebody who is a celebrity figure, shall we say, once they gain that public attention, either they themselves will start using it as a platform for their views and opinions, or other people will start pushing them to espouse openly yet more extreme and possibly sensational views and opinions. It's all very well to highlight a problem, but when that shifts into blaming certain people for that problem and somehow alienating or castigating that particular group of people for that problem, then that starts to become a problem in itself. I mean, we saw that in the 30s in Germany. where the Nazis blamed the Jews for all of the problems, and of course they became the whipping boys, in some cases almost literally. So yes, it does give me cause for concern. It does make me wonder whether we might actually see the end of the British monarchy in my lifetime. I hope we don't, and I hope that whoever picks up the reins, get it? Reins? Right, yeah, never mind. Adopts a more neutral or openly neutral stance over things. But I know that that's very difficult these days, when if you don't adopt a position on every issue that is out there, then you're automatically assumed to be on the negative side. You're automatically assumed to be in favour of whatever problem it is they're discussing. So I just thought I'd get out on this day where we have a 4-day weekend to celebrate the Festival of Speed. Not to celebrate the Festival of Speed, to celebrate the Queen's 70th Platinum anniversary. That's 70th stroke Platinum, it's not her 70th Platinum anniversary. That would be quite some going. So I would like to take this opportunity to wish Her Majesty all the very best. Long may she continue, not necessarily as Queen, entirely up to her. Nobody would blame her, I don't think, if she, well, I say nobody would blame her if she decided to step down. You always get people that will choose to criticise and deal negatively with someone because they'll be saying, oh, see, she didn't keep her promise. She promised she would devote her entire life. Well, stepping down as Queen doesn't mean not doing other things to help. Especially if Prince Charles doesn't reign very long. If he reigns at all, he may decide to forgo the crown in favour of William. I mean, in my view, that would probably be the better way forward. And as I say, whether you're pro-monarchy, whether you're anti-monarchy, whether you don't mind one way or the other, it's like people who aren't religious and don't believe that Christ existed. They're still happy to have a party at Christmas with the prezzies and the food. I'm sure those who are against the monarchy won't mind joining in the day off, if everybody gets the day off. I mean, I've noticed that when we have bank holidays these days, I know more people are starting to call it a public holiday, but it used to be the case in my living memory, which is quite some time to be honest, that on a bank holiday pretty much everything shut down. No shops were open. If any buses or trains were running, it was a Sunday service. And if you ran out of anything, good luck, you have to wait till shops open. But now it just seems to be, it's an optional day. You don't have to observe it if you don't want to. But there we go. Times change, things move on. It's called progress. Although I have to say that progress isn't always a positive thing, and not in every regard. But then what do I know? Can't see over the crest of that hill. Not going to risk it. Don't want to be caught on the wrong side of the road and something comes the other way. So there we are. Yes, I have worries and concerns for the future of the monarchy. I sincerely hope they don't come to pass. I hope I'm just borrowing trouble, as I like to say. But we shall see. Like I say, it may very well be that it happens in my lifetime. But I just hope that if it does ever come to the point where that question becomes really asked, I just hope at the end of the day they have a referendum and ask all the people if the monarchy should continue or not. Now, I know that there are those out there that say, well, you can't trust the people to give you the right answer. Well, woo. I will always point to the last referendum we had, where a lot of people are still whining and complaining about the result. But anyway, obviously Goodwood is preparing for another summer season of activities. I doubt very much whether I'll be attending any of them. I just don't have that sort of money. But I think it's just another indicator of things returning to normal. But anyway, there we are. Interested to hear anybody's comments and thoughts. Even if it's, yes, I'm a Republican, I don't support the monarchy, they should be dissolved. Well, that's your opinion. Good luck to you. Is that a trophy behind me? So I'll say thank you for joining me, and again, hope you're all doing well, and I'll speak to you again soon. Cheerio for now. Bye.